We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Izuku, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back with you in another new part of What If Izuku Had a Bakugan Quirk? This is part 4, and once again, thanks a lot for all the love, support, and care you guys have given for this series. It means a lot to me, showing how much you guys love Bakugan and how much you guys are enjoying the nostalgia trip. But I will say this outright. Once I get to that of part 5 in this series, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Given that, I need to catch up on a lot of my old What If content after all. So, yeah, guys, apologies, but it needs to be done. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's go that of the necessary recap. In the last part, Izuku began that of the, UA entrance exam, where he was quite nervous, but all still prepared no matter what to come. Even brought in that of several other Bakugan to help him just in case. With him meeting that of 2 interesting individuals. One being a girl with that of pink skin and the messy hair, similar to him, and another girl who basically knew about him actually, with that of short black hair and quite the, cute and stoic face in a way, with him showing off that of Skyrus, defeating that of multiple robots, while also having that of a good vantage point. Not to mention, using that of Subterra Gorum to help out the 2 girls, destroying the 0-pointer in his zone, but at the same time, also destroying that of another 0-pointer from another zone as well. With a week gone by, he gains his acceptance later, and not only he got that at the top score in the entrance exam, but also beat that of All Might's old record as well, proving that Izuku is capable of being the hero he dreamt of. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Also, a bit of a heads up, if you guys remember, I made a poll about that of a couple weeks ago, on who I should ship Izuku with, being that of 2 girls instead, just like that of Dual Spirit Deku. And you guys all voted for basically, being Lena and Julie to be shipped with that of Izuku in this What If. Which, I'm not complaining after all. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? It's currently now been a month since that of, the UA entrance exam, and it's currently spring break. And soon the beginning of the new school year for all of Japan, once April rolls around. However, Izuku hasn't remained idle during his break, as he's basically been training, working hard, and developing that of new ways to use that of his new Bakugan quirk. And let's just say, he's come to that of striking, revelations about that of his Bakugan quirk. Something he wouldn't realize if he just focused way too much on that of the anime itself and not just himself as well. And he has to thank at least 3 of his Bakugan for bringing this up. Not to mention, When he goes to that of the card shop that he goes to for for Bakugan cards and also for ability and gate cards, he also gained that of several new Bakugan. Bakugan he knows he's going to be needing to use during his time in UA. Within, the worker at the card shop, Watabe, saying, I still can't believe that you're choosing these Bakugan out of a lot of others. I did. Within, he's saying, these Bakugan have a lot more potential. Plus, I'm looking more for versatility than just, well, being used in combat. Not to mention, I really do appreciate the other aspects you've given me for saying, hey, you're a #1 customer and one of the best Bakugan brawlers in the city. Possibly the entirety of the Shizuoka prefecture. If anything, if Bakugan gets as popular and more as it is now, it could possibly make you go pro. Maybe another way looking at it, once the whole hero thing, you feel tired of the whole hero thing, Midoriya. With Izuku hearing that, scratching the back of his head, feeling quite nervous and embarrassed, saying, maybe, I'll think about it, but probably not. Before then saying, I say your skills are wasted being used for that of, well, hero work, that's all. Within, Izuku freaking out, seeing that of the same, well, blue-haired glasses girl that he met that of several months back, after all, being Lena Isis. Within saying, Miss Isis, saying, please, just call me Lena. I prefer my given name instead of my birth name, if you do not mind. Saying, sure. And what do you mean by prefer battling than me being a hero? Within, she adjusting her glasses, having one arm below that of her surprisingly ample chest for a girl that's now going into high school, as she speaks bluntly saying, your talents and abilities as that of a brawler are basically what the Bakugan community needs. Sure, right now it's nothing but just a fad or a way for kids to have some fun outside of pro heroes. But what we really need is somebody to be the symbol of Bakugan. To have Bakugan basically be on the same level as that of the pro hero profession. Within hearing that, Izuku saying, I see. So you really think I'm that good? I mean, I'm just talented a bit, saying, well, with a quirk like yours that allows you to basically know when to play, use certain ability cards and certain Bakugan in certain battles, it makes sense. Before then, hearing that, he realized, wait, did you? Saying, as she basically couldn't help but smirk, saying, I was aware of your quirk all this time. It wasn't just basically making Bakugan real, but you were able to basically know the game both in and out. Best way to every strategy you can basically debunk without even trying because of your quirk. With it, if anything, it's the perfect quirk for the perfect symbol of Bakugan players all across Japan and possibly even the world. Within hearing that, both Izuku and Watabe couldn't help but say, damn, this girl is scary, both in looks and personality. Before then, Izuku say, you are well something else. Is it your quirk? Does you have an analyzation quirk that's able to, well, analyze, speculate, and basically come to realizations about certain people's quirks? Within, Izuku basically getting close to her, making Lisa for the first time actually blush, seeing on how close and how interested in her quirk she is. Within, she's saying, it's nothing like that actually. Within saying, I'm just really smart, and I develop my skills to have that of good detection and deduction skills. Nothing more, nothing less. With Izuku shocked saying, wow, you're that good at detecting things without realizing it? Within, a certain voice saying, wow, it seems like she's pretty similar to you, Izuku, when it comes to analyzation and detecting things and that of the smallest things. Within, Izuku blushing, saying, Skyrus. Before then, she's saying, my actual quirk is, before then, a slight glow basically comes around that of her skin and body, actually. Within, that glow begins to fade. showing her in that of a more darker grayish skin tone with that of certain horns coming around that of her forehead. However, her appearance is still basically the same, just a little bit more, well, heteromorphic. Within, Izuku shocked, within Watsume saying, you look like a Gundalian from Bakugan, saying, yes, I get that a lot. This is what I originally usually look like. My quirk is called that of, well, camouflage. Basically, I can change my appearance, but only that of my skin tone, though. And slight features across my body. Nothing else really changes that much. It also doesn't help that my main appearance looks like that of a Gundalian, from that of Gundalian Invasion season of Bakugan. So I prefer just to, before then, going back to that of what she originally looked like, saying, looking more normal. With Izuku shocked by that, saying, wow, that's rough. I'm guessing, if you're asking if I gotten bullied because of my appearance looking like that of one of the main antagonists from that of the Bakugan series, then somewhat yes, but not entirely. As long as I basically look like this, I don't get any problems. Within, Izuku saying, but I'm pretty sure it's rough. Rough being looked like that. Within, she's saying, I'm able to bear through it. I have before, and I still can once I go into UA. Within, hearing that, saying, wait, you're going to UA? Before she adjusting her glasses, saying, yes, I am. I won't be in that of the hero course if you're asking. I'll be going into general studies. Even though UA is mainly known for their hero course, their general education department is just as great, especially since a lot of people who go into that of the main course get into that of top-ranking colleges and universities, and even able to get into that of prestigious job markets too. So, again, being a hero isn't everything. Just to point that out, Midoriya. Before then, she walks off. As she begins leaving the door, saying, but good luck in your hero career, Bakugan wizard. As she says this somewhat sarcastically, but also a bit seductively, if you count, given her seriousness. As the doors slide open, and she leaves the shop, with Izuku face a bit red, before Watsume saying, I think she might have a thing for you, Midoriya. Saying, I don't think that's the case at all. I think she cares more about my potential, and that's it. Saying, I don't know. Girls are fickle creatures. Just gotta say. That's all I gotta say. With Izuku still quite embarrassed, with cheeks red and everything. Before then, grabbing that of the Bakugan he ordered, alongside ability and gate cards, and began to head back home, getting ready for that of his first day at UA High. However, on the way as soon as he was getting ready, talking to his mom, as she basically nagging him about everything, making sure he has everything, and didn't just put that of action figures and Bakugan in his bag, and saying that was only that one time, but tells her that he always needs his Bakugan with him for his quirk, of course. But definitely Inko was just teasing him after all. However, she had small little teardrops in her eyes, but says to her son that she's proud of him. With Izuku having a shaky smile, but a smile full of joy and happiness coming from his mother, who believes in him now. On the way to onto the train station to get to that of UA, he soon runs into that of a certain someone, that being Julie, with Izuku saying, Julie, hey, with her saying, hey there, Izu. So, heading into UA, within Izuku scratched back his head saying, yeah, actually. So, within saying, honestly, I'm actually proud of you. Once again, when I heard that you made it into UA, it's awesome. Shame Bakugo had to make it into it too. I was really hoping that jerk would basically crash and burn. Within hearing this, Izuku saying, don't say that. Kachan is, well, Kachan, but he works hard and trains hard, and he has a great potential to be an awesome hero. Saying, Oh yeah, he definitely does. All he needs to do is fix that horrible ass personality of his. And he'll definitely be that of a decent enough hero. With Izuku basically a little bit embarrassed by that of Julie. Words. Before then, realizing, finally looking at her uniform, which fills out quite a bit given her looks and all, making him blush. With then, Julie saying, "Hey there, like what you see, Izu?" Saying, "I'm just shocked, that's all. And I'm still shocked that you didn't bother going into UA." With then, she basically huffing saying, "Oh, trust me, I would definitely love to go to UA, but I prefer that of a normal school, to be honest. Plus, there are tons of other schools around that of Masafu outside of just UA. Some with that of their very own hero programs of their own. But I never wanted to be that of a hero. Don't get me wrong, I really love helping people and want to see people smile, but I don't think that my quirk would be useful for hero work after all." With Izuku hearing that saying, "I told you this before, Julie. Your quirk is definitely great for that of hero work, if you actually bother to train it." Within, she's saying, Yeah, I'm aware. It didn't help that a lot of teachers at that of Aldera kept on pushing me to be a hero, even though I didn't want it. Seriously, again, there's more to life outside of just being a hero. Just because being a hero is a safety job or basically a good way to, well, get a higher paycheck and everything, even for those in the lower ranks, doesn't mean that it's a safe job. Just because All Might exists doesn't mean that being a hero is still safe even now. With hearing this, Izuku was a little bit caught off guard by Julie, as normally she's always so positive and always happy, but he always did notice that growing up, especially during her time at that of Aldera, she was kind of cynical around that of heroes. If anything, she morally appreciates people who just do the right thing because it's the right thing and help others, not just because it's what a hero does. And now, and not only that, the same thing with that of, well, Lena back around that of yesterday, about how she doesn't really see highly of heroes either, or see that how much society values them. Within, Julie saying, "Not trying to pull you down, Izuku, or anything like that. If anything, I know you're going to be the greatest hero of all time." Heck, with her, basically, even clomping onto Izuku, hugging him, as making him blushing, saying, "I know you'll be the greatest hero that the world will ever know." Within, Izuku hearing that, making him basically want to cry, but trying to hold back his tears, with one of his Bakugan saying, "Just let it out, Izuku. Seriously, we all know you want to cry because of how much he cares about you. Just do it." With Izuku a little bit flustered saying, "Avior, please." With then, soon Julie lets go, realizing, oh, looks like my train is about to arrive. Hearing that of the train intercom, of course, a little while ago. With then, Julie soon pulls something out of her skirt pocket, before also giving that of certain cards to that of Izuku, with saying, "Here, I figure you're going to be needing these, and this little guy too." Before then, Izuku getting the cards and also the Bakugan, knowing it all too well, saying, "Wait, Julie, this is your..." "Yep, my Subterra Dryad." With then realizing, "But this is a limited edition mechanical Bakugan." Given the limited production of a lot of mechanical Bakugan are completely made out of metal after all, which is utterly rare. With then saying, "That's why I'm giving it to you. You'll put that of Dryad way more useful with your quirk after all." With saying, "And call it that of my graduation gift to you." With then Izuku saying, "But I wanted to, but..." Saying, just being friends with you is one of the best experiences of my life. And I'm honestly glad that I got to meet somebody like you, Izuku. Hopefully, you won't be too busy for little old me while you're trained to be a little hero after all." Saying, never. I always will." Saying, "Good." Within, getting to that of Izuku, close to Izuku's ear, saying, "I wouldn't have it any other way, cutie." Before then, Izuku basically having utterly read, with the train finally arrive as the doors open. Before then, she goes into the train, the doors close before giving that of a, blow kiss towards Izuku. With Izuku completely and utterly, basically, brain dead in a way, with all his Bakugan trying to get Izuku's attention. With then, his newly minted Dryadnoid, feeling that of his quirk's energy within it, basically jumps up and hits Izuku upside the head. And of course, being completely made out of metal, basically snaps him out of it. However, Dryadnoid, being of course a mechanical Bakugan, can't talk, of course, but still is able to express itself through thoughts alone after all. With Izuku blinking, saying, "Wow, even though a mechanical Bakugan, similar to that of a trap Bakugan, can't speak, they still have emotions and feelings, even for a machine." I guess that basically proves that even in that of the new Vestroya, mechanical Bakugan did have at least some feelings and emotions, instead of just being tools, like how the Vexo saw them. Couple minutes later, his train finally arrives, getting him to that of UA High, with him basically going to that of the massive school, trying to find his way through that of the corridors, of course, but given on how huge this school is, even though the school looks like that of a giant-ass H, with him finally arriving in front of Class 1A, with him looking up saying, "Well, this door is huge, probably made to accommodate that of students with that of gigantification quirks similar to Mount Lady." With then a voice going, "Well, you're just gonna stand there, or are you going to go in already, Izuku?" Saying, right. With Izuku sliding the door open as he mentally thinks, "Hopefully I'm not in the same class as Kachan. And I definitely hope that I'm not in the same class as that tall guy from the entrance exam." However, as soon as the door slides open, before then a voice saying, "Apologies, Master Izuku, but it seems that is not happening." With Izuku saying, "I know now." As currently in that of Class 1A is that of Bakugo and Ida arguing with each other, with Bakugo having his feet on the desk and Ida trying his best to basically, discipline that of Bakugo. With Bakugo having that of an arrogant and, somewhat annoyed look on his face, saying, "You got a lot of stones to basically think you can boss me around, you robot-looking wannabe. Where the hell you think you from, after all, you damn extra?" With Ida, caught off guard by this, basically realizing they got off the wrong foot here, saying, "I am not trying to basically be bossing you or prove that I am better than you. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Tenya Ida from Somei Private School Academy." And I was just saying, "Oh, Somei, huh? So you do think you're better than me. I'm looking forward to basically ripping you a new one and putting you in your place." With then, Ida completely off guard by this saying, "Putting me in your place and ripping me a new one? Are you sure you're in the right class? Because that sounds quite villainous." With then, Bakugo getting actually annoyed, saying, "You want to say that again, you four-eyed bastard?" With Izuku seeing the tension in the air, realizing, seriously? Before then, a voice saying, "Oh, hey, you're the messy green-haired kid from before." With then, Izuku, a little bit flustered before noticing somebody coming up to him, as it being Mina, the same girl he helped during that of the entrance exam, saying, "I can't believe it that you actually made it. I mean, it's kind of awesome. Hey, Kirishima, this is the guy I was talking about." With then seeing a guy with that of sharp teeth and that of spiky red hair saying, "Sup, man? Name's Egio Kirishima. It's a pleasure to meet you." Within saying, "Yeah, pleasure to meet you too. And I'm Izuku Midoriya." I feel like I've heard that name before. As Bakugo and Ida were about to basically well, mainly Bakugo, about to basically attack that of Ida, with Bakugo noticing Izuku and Ida noticing Izuku as well, with Bakugo basically just narrowing his eyes at Izuku and still remembering the day that they both got into UA, called in by that of their teacher and principal, basically giving them words of flattery, saying that he expected great things from the both of them, especially from Bakugo and Izuku, given their quirks and all, and hopefully that they'll basically be able to spread the good name of Aldera after, to be honest. However, Bakugo didn't care about that. If anything, he's still more pissed because in Bakugo's eyes, he still sees Izuku as nothing but a liar, a manipulator, a person who basically kept the secret about his quirk all this damn time, and in his eyes basically making fun of him that he had an all-powerful quirk while he basically had to work his ass off to figure out this quirk in all his life. With even Bakugo basically declaring that he'll be the #1 hero, that he'll surpass everybody, and he'll basically leave Izuku in his lying ass dusk. With Izuku pretty much annoyed with that of Bakugo's words. And in a way, he basically just does not care anymore. With Izuku saying that he just wishes him the best of luck for the both of them going to UA together. And that's it. With that, they basically go their separate ways, but instead, they just had to be in the same homeroom class, showing that either fate basically hates these two, or basically wants these two to try and mend their relationship. Who could say when it comes to fate? She can be quite the fickle mistress. Within, somebody came up saying, "Oh, it's you, wizard boy." Within, Izuku kind of caught off guard with seeing behind him, seeing that of the same somewhat pretty but also stoic girl, being Yui Kode. Within saying, "Oh, hi, you're the girl from the entrance exam." Saying, "The girl you helped save. Allow me to thank you." Within, she bows. With Izuku completely off guard saying, you don't need to." Within, she basically shakes her head before just saying she just nods, saying that she does. With Izuku completely off guard, with even Mina going, "Oh, you're the girl. I'm glad that you actually made it in too. This is also the other girl I was talking about, Kiri," saying, "Yeah, I know." With that, Ida soon comes over saying, "Hello there, my name is," saying, I heard it's Izuku. Tenya Ida, if I recall, right?" Saying, yes, that is me." Before then, bows his head. "I am sorry that I basically, believe that you weren't taking that of the entrance exam seriously. For that, I am truly sorry. And not to mention, to see the fact that you actually gained that of the highest score with that of the rescue points, you must have knew this entire time. For that, and your foresight must be better than mine. And for that, I truly am apologizing within," saying, No, none of that. Please. I didn't know about that of rescue points. I just did what I thought was right after all, and just wanted to help." That's when Drago soon appeared saying, "That's just how Izuku always is. Always too caring for his own good. I think that's the true mark of what makes a hero and a good guy." Within, seeing that of Drago, however, he's in that of Delta Dragonoid mode, saying, "Drago," within him smirking a bit. Before then, Mina, alongside Kirishima, still shocked, saying, "Wait, is that an actual Bakugan talking?" Within, Kirishima going, "Whoa, that is so cool. How are you doing that, Midoriya?" With Izuku a little bit shocked in having people up close and personal in front of him, with his face going red and embarrassed, saying, "It's part of my quirk, actually. My quirk basically stockpiles energy into them and they begin speaking and talking and stuff like that. That's all." Before then, that's when Yui basically grabs that of Drago, catching the teens off guard, with even Izuku saying, "Miss Kode, what are you?" Within saying, "Talking Dragonoid. That's cool." Within, Drago saying, "Oh, you think I'm cool? I mean, I appreciate the compliment," while holding on to that of Drago, with then she going to Izuku saying, the rumors don't do you justice. You really are cool with Bakugan. With Izuku embarrassed saying, thanks. With her just basically, just nodding before still looking at that of Drago, wanting to know how he ticks and everything. With Izuku realizing, is she really that interested in Bakugan? Before then, another one of his Bakugan spoke up, saying, Master Izuku, it seems somebody has been keeping an eye on us this whole time. Right behind that of Miss Kode. Within, hearing that voice saying, who is it, Talion? See for yourself. Before then, looking past that of, Yui. Before then, noticing that of a person in a yellow sleeping bag that makes him look like a freaking caterpillar, as he has that of, you can basically see his face. It's basically tons of 5 o'clock shadows. He looks like he has sleepless nights and looks not impressed at all. Within saying, one of you noticed me actually. Probably due to that of your quirk. Within, the others noticed. Within, Mina going, who the? Within, Kirishima saying, is that a caterpillar dude? Within, Yui a little bit confused. With soon, him basically pulling something out of the sleeping bag as it being that of a juice pouch. Before drinking it up, saying, if many of you are just here to try and be friends or have fun, well, you're in the wrong class, I'll tell you that. Before then, he begins to unzipping the sleeping bag and coming out, seeing his full-on appearance, basically wearing all black with a weird scarf around his neck and messy, shaggy black hair going all the way down to that of his shoulders, saying, hello, my name is Shota Aizawa. I'll be your homeroom teacher for the entirety of the first year. Within, catching everybody completely and utterly off guard by that. Especially since they have no idea who the heck this guy even is, to be honest. As they expected that all the faculty at UA were pro heroes. This guy doesn't even look like a pro hero, but just looks like a homeless guy that just finds his way into UA. Before pulling out something else from his sleeping bag and showing this to the entirety of the class, saying, these are the UA gym uniforms. You'll find them in that of your designated locker room for that of Class 1A. I expect all of you to be there in the next 10-15 minutes. Don't be late. Before then, he walks off, within saying, I'm not joking. With hearing that of tons of rustling and basically people rushing out of that of their desk, heading to that of the changing rooms. Within, couldn't help but smirk a little bit. Before, a couple minutes later, everybody now arrives in that of the training field, within that of their gym uniform, saying, good, you all made it in time. Before then, that's when the tall boy saying, excuse me, sir, what are we even doing out here? Shouldn't we be preparing for that of the orientation? With Aizawa looking at that of Ida saying, here at UA, teachers are basically free to do as they please with that of their class, especially homeroom teachers. So whatever I say goes. And you don't have time to be wasting with such frivolous things that you can basically figure it out yourself. Here at UA, especially for you in the hero course, every time is precious. And right now, I need to see what you all are capable of and the benchmark that you are at now. Before then, looking at that of Izuku saying, Midoriya, saying, yes, sir. What was your farthest throw in junior high? Within, saying, I think it was 50 meters, actually. Within, hearing that, he couldn't help but scoff, saying, fine then. Throw this ball, but this time, use your quirk. Saying, huh? Did I stutter? Use your quirk when throwing this ball. Got it? But saying, yes, sir. Before then, hearing all that, as Izuku saying, he can't be serious, right? Within, Tigrera spoke up saying, I think he is, my lord. Within another voice saying, so what the hell you think you're going to do, Izuku? As this being a newest Bakugan, with one voice saying, isn't it obvious? He either does it or don't. That is his only choice and options he has. Then a feminine voice going, geez, you're really are making it that easy, aren't you, Crackus? Within the Bakugan known as Crackus saying, our lord just needs to do it. Nothing more, nothing less. With then Izuku hearing this from Crackus going, I guess I got no choice. Within, that's Win saying, so what will you do, Master Izuku? Within saying, well, better prove myself then. As pulling out that of the Bakugan he wants, as it being a Ventus Bakugan. However, it's not Skyrus actually, or Storm Skyrus I should say. Within, as it looks like that of a Mectanium Surge type Bakugan. Within, him basically gripping on it tight before soon. You say that I have to stay in the circle, right? You didn't say anything about anything else, like that of my quirk itself can go outside of it, right? Within, Aizawa basically narrowing his eyes and even having that of a raised eyebrow saying, I did. As long as you use your quirk in the circle, it doesn't matter what happens outside of it. Within saying, good enough for me. Before then, Izuku getting into a throwing stance. Before doing that, of a sideways throw, saying, Bakugan, bro! Bring his arm from the side all the way forward. Within doing so, as he soon screams out, Baku Sky Raider, jump! Go, Ventus Jakor! Within flying through the air with that of massive winds flowing everywhere that affects the entire grounds and almost sucked up those of Class 1A if none of them were prepared and some actually helping each other out. With even Aizawa quite shocked by the pressure as well. With even Bakugo seeing this, couldn't help but be completely and utterly caught off guard. As the Ventus Sky Raider Bakugan is looking like that of a giant, mechanized Shinobi Bakugan with that of a red visor, all green, and almost pretty much close to the same size as Gorum actually, even nearly dwarfing almost that of UA as well, reaching at least that of, 6 floors actually, which catching almost everybody off guard, even those from that of the, orientation ceremony on the other side of UA can see that of Jakor. With then those that many of the UA students are basically freaking out and weirded out. However, some who are basically have played that of Bakugan know that's what Jakor looks like, and that's of the, anime and virtually. With Ben seeing that of Lena, basically couldn't help but smirk, saying, Midoriya, now it makes sense on why those of Class 1A are not here, it seems. With Nezu, who was giving out that of the orientation, speech and all, saying, looks like Aizawa's already begun. With then, soon, giving out that of with Izuku, offering the ball towards that of Jakor, saying, just throw the ball, you know what to do, Jakor. With then saying, of course, master. Before then, he jumps up high up into the air as well, like so high that he even passes that of UA high. With then, prepare as he soon throws that of the ball that was basically so small into his hands. With that of so much force that it creates that of a giant hurricane. And honestly, Izuku didn't even need to use an ability card for this one. Jakor can do all the heavy lifting himself. With everybody feeling that of a massive shockwave pressure that engulfs not just that of UA, but also the nearby district cities around that of Masafu, and even several other cities next to Masafu, and more. With then, soon, Aizawa looking through, seeing that of the measuring on that of the ball that he had, looking through that of his phone, with soon realizing, I knew this kid was going to be a problem. His quirk is truly monstrous. To think that just mere toys from a card game can do this much power and damage. Before soon showing that of Izuku's score, basically 9,900.5 meters, with showing that it's actually one hell of a throw, with catching everybody completely and utterly off guard, with Jakor basically landing back onto the ground. As of course, even though he is a Ventus Bakugan, he doesn't really have flight capabilities, unlike a lot of other Ventus Bakugan. Mainly just using the Ventus wind power to keep him in the air as more of a hover ability after all, given that he is a Bakugan used more for stealth and sneak attacks, given that he is a Sky Raider Bakugan. With everybody seeing Izuku's score, with even Bakugo seeing that, and can't help but be completely and utterly caught off guard, actually, with Izuku seeing his score, as he can't help but have that of a look of pure and utter joy, as of course, this is what it means to have that of a Mectanium Surge Bakugan, one of the strong, especially Jakor being one of the strongest Ventus Bakugan, with then saying, this is what you all need to prepare for and need to surpass. Currently, the current education system wants to make that every student feels equal, that they're all equal in one way or another, either in academics, sports, and many other things, but that's far from the truth. Here at UA, you need to see on what you're capable of, that you're not equal with everybody, that you need to see how far you can go. And that's exactly what you'll be doing, that of a quirk apprehension test, to see what you all need to improve on. Within hearing all of that, everybody getting at least a little bit excited that they'll be doing that of the standard, physical test, but they'll be able to use their quirks this time. With even Mina bouncing around, that this is going to be fun, alongside that of a guy with that of, spiky blonde hair with a black lightning bolt into it. With Aizawa hearing this saying, oh, you all think that this is going to be all fun and games? Well then, how about this? The person who comes in that of last place will be expelled from the hero course. Within hearing that, everybody basically get somewhat, terrified and some getting angry. With then one student with that of weird, purple balls on his head say, you can't be serious. We all got into this school fair and square. You can't expel us on the first day. Just from a stupid test. Within, soon hearing that, Aizawa saying, stupid test, you say? Tell me, you really think that this test is stupid, not knowing on how far you'll go? How much you're willing to push yourself to be a hero? If you really think that this is all just fun and games, you can leave now, because being a hero is one of the most demanding and one of the most tough jobs that you'll ever face against. Power-hungry villains, natural disasters, biological accidents. Those are all things that you all need to prepare for and you will go against as heroes. Don't expect the world to coddle you, or even I to do so as well. Because once you are a hero, you're putting everything on the line to do your job right. Within hearing all that, within one of Izuku's Bakugan saying, I like this guy. He says it as it is. Same. I like guys like him that are basically way too honest to call it as it is. With the rest of the other Bakugan saying, of course you all would. Within another new Bakugan of Izuku saying, all the same. He's not wrong about how unfair the world was. I mean, take for that of Izuku, for example. Everyone thought that he was quirkless, useless, unable to have a quirk at all. But yet, look at him now. If Bakugan never existed or came to realization or even made a return, none of us would be here, especially Izuku. With Izuku hearing this from one of his Bakugan, as he couldn't help but clench his fist, saying, even so, that doesn't mean he has the right to expel us because of it, after everything we've all worked so hard to achieve and try. And I'm not going to let some hobo-looking teacher basically take that away from us. I've come this far. I'm not letting all the hard work that we all put through be for nothing. As Class 1A's quirk apprehension test basically begins. However, Izuku basically decided to not hold anything back. If Aizawa wants to see him at his best, that's exactly what he's going to show. As through each of the tests that he is allowed to use out of his Bakugan that wouldn't cause too much of a problem, he basically shows each and every one of them off again. He didn't need to do that at the ball throw because he already did it. And given that he already has the top ranking score, proves that it's going to be hard for anyone to beat. As for that of the 50-meter dash, honestly, Izuku holds nothing back on the Bakugan he chooses, as he chooses that of his newest Chaos Bakugan, Chaos Lumagrow, as he brings out that of the massive white nine-tailed fox Bakugan with a fierce look into its eyes. Within, Lumagrow basically allows Izuku on that of his back, as of course, he's right next to that of Bakugo, with Bakugo basically seeing the massive fox-like nine-tailed fox Bakugan, with Lumagrow basically looking at that of Bakugo before then giving off that of a dangerous smirk. Basically, Lumagrow looking down on Bakugo, both literally and physically as well, with Bakugo seeing this absolutely and utterly pissed. Before then, and just one massive leap actually, Lumagrow basically already reaches the finish line faster than Bakugo, who tried his best, but because of that, he did basically get a little bit faster time than his normal time. But even so, he wasn't faster than that of Lumagrow, whose size alone basically dwarfed him, with Bakugo basically growling at that of the fox, within saying, "Ha, Izuku talks a big game about you being special and all, but all I see is basically nothing but a worthless little brat who's more animal than human." Within, Bakugo hearing this saying, "Why you goddamn worthless!" Within, soon, Aizawa saying, "Both of you, knock it off. Midoriya, get your quirk under control," saying, right. Saying, Lumagrow saying, "What? Just having a little bit of fun with that of with the boy looking Pomeranian." Saying, "You want to say that again? You're a Pomeranian, boy." With Bakugo hearing this, as then, soon, as Lumagrow basically egging on that of Bakugo, as the two almost looking like they're about to attack. However, for a split second, Lumagrow basically reverts back into ball form, causing Izuku to basically fall off the big guy, and Bakugo's explosion soon, no longer basically being used, as then the two are basically wrapped up in some weird, fiber actually, with then saying, "I told you to calm yourself now." With then Bakugo trying to struggle out, however Izuku, not that much. However, he notices that of their teacher's eyes being red, and his hair floating, saying, "Wait, you're Eraserhead." Within, Aizawa saying, "So you know about me?" Within, Bakugo saying, "The hell are you thinking, you damn extra teacher?" Within, soon, while Bakugo continues struggling, he just gets even more and more tangled into that of the wrappings, saying, "Don't even try it. Besides me turning off your quirk, the more you struggle, the more you just get bound up more by my capture scarf." With then, Izuku saying, "The underground pro hero Eraserhead, considered to be one of the best in the underground scene. Even though it's stated that he was part of multiple agencies, he never stuck around for long and always basically did his own thing. An independent hero separated from the hero rankings. with everybody not knowing who this guy is. However, some have heard of the name Eraserhead, but don't know much about that of the Underground Pro, except Izuku being the hero nerd he is. With Kode basically giving off a little smirk saying, nerd. With now Bakugo calming down and saying, good, now that you both have basically have a cooler head, with Izuku kind of embarrassed on that of Luma Growl after all. With then Luma Growl saying, you really think that just basically canceling me out is gonna save this damn brat? With then using his quirk again. However, Luma Growl is still basically floating, saying, nice try, you damn hobo. All you done is basically I can't transform into my physical form. I can still basically talk and act since I am a stockpile quirk after all. As long as I have energy inside me, I can basically still talk and move around as I see fit. Within, Aizawa hearing this saying, I see. Before then, Izuku grabbing Luma Growl saying, stop egging on my teacher, Luma Growl. With Luma Growl clicking his tongue saying, sure, whatever. With Izuku putting Luma Growl up and bowing his head saying, I am so sorry, Mr. Aizawa. Luma Growl is kind of saying, don't make excuses. Just keep him and keep that of your quirk in check like I said. With Izuku saying, yes, sir. Before then, couldn't help but huff as Bakugo basically growling and grumbling to himself while giving that of a death glare towards Izuku. Thinking to himself that that's how Izuku thinks of him from Luma Growl's voice, but not knowing or basically not caring since he never bothered watching the anime that that's how Luma Growl acts, arrogant, entitled, cruel, and also a proud and strong-willed warrior, loyal to that of his brawler, who is Izuku. With the rest of the other, exams going on. However, Izuku couldn't use his Bakugan for all of them. He can only use them for that of the, ball throwing test, long distance running, the high jump, and the 15-meter dash after all. Everything else, Izuku needed to do himself, like from that of the grip strength test to side steps, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and all that out of the way too. Showing that without his Bakugan, he can't do anything, too strenuous, but he needs to rely on himself. However, even though this Izuku didn't do that of the full-on, American Dream plan from All Might, he's not as, he's not as out of shape as some people would think he would be, like in the beginning of the series, when he had literal noodle arms after all. This Izuku is still pretty athletic and fit, actually, due to his training. Mainly because his Bakugan wanted him to basically train outside of just, you constantly thinking of strategies and tactics for him. So he's only a little bit muscular than his canon counterpart. To the point that he only has that of a, 4-pack, actually. So, yeah. So, to be fair, Izuku kind of did decent enough, actually. It's only the three things that basically, got him probably the highest score was that of the ball throwing test, alongside that of the long distance running, and even that of, the 15-meter dash and long jump too. But everything else he needed to do himself and not always rely on that of his Bakugan to handle himself. As now, the quirk apprehension test has finally come to an end. With then, as I was saying, instead of basically showing what you all did, individually in each test, I'll show you all did overall and throughout the entirety of this exam. With then showing that a first place being a girl by the name of Momo Yaoyorozu, second place being that of a guy by the name of Shoto Todoroki, third place being Izuku, fourth place being Bakugo, fifth place being Ida, and so on and so forth. With the only person that was being replaced was Ochako, since Yui's now in class, where Ochako was at least in that of, 12th place in the main timeline. Instead, she's kinda, that of the, 18th place actually. But the person that's kind of in last place being a guy by the name of Minoru Mineta, with as that being the kid with that of the purple balls, within saying, no way, this can't be happening. Before then, soon, Aizawa saying, oh, right, almost forgot, I lied, no one's getting expelled. Within, everybody hearing this, as they all basically scream, huh? Well, some of them. Within, a girl with that of a spiky ponytail, and quite that of a mature figure, and serious saying, well, of course he was lying. He only said that for us to basically give it our all, to not hold anything back after, to be honest. A homeroom teacher really cannot expel the entirety of his class on the very first day without proper reasoning. But then, soon, Aizawa saying, if only you knew, Yaoyorozu, I have expelled my entire classes before, giving them a black mark and then re-enrolling them the next day afterwards. That black mark on their school record basically symbolizes their first death, so they need to take their hero work seriously. Luckily enough, unlike those who I've expelled before, you all at least have a little bit of more potential. Even looking at Mineta, who's basically praying and thanking for not being fully expelled, before looking at that of Izuku, thinking, his quirk is so unique and different from that of the usual quirks I've always used against. Even with that of stockpile quirks, they're still basically turned off. But yet, it's like his entire body basically generates that so-called energy. Even if I turn it off and he can't activate it, it's still stockpiling no matter what. And especially in what inside of him, being his Bakugan. I should better keep a better eye on him. He may be a one-trick pony, relying so much on the Bakugan, given during that of the exam, having to do things physically. He didn't reach that in best way. He's only in that of the top 10 when it comes to physically himself. If without his quirk, he's basically useless. The quicker he finds that out, the better. Within saying, now then, that's the end of your first day here at UA. Also, if you want to know about everything here at UA, there's a syllabus in the homeroom class. Everything that the principal would have said during orientation, you can follow that on the pamphlet. So make sure to basically recognize everything. Now, you're dismissed. With hearing all that, leaving everybody completely and utterly shocked and in disbelief that this is their homeroom teacher. With then one saying, I really do like this guy. With another going, same. With then Izuku saying, of course you two would. Hydronoid, Spatterex. Within another one of his Bakugan saying, honestly, he's not that half bad if you think about it. Just a teacher trying to see what his students are truly capable of. I can honor and respect that. As this being Aquas Elico saying, why do I have you guys again? With all three of them spoke up, with that of Helios saying, you need the strongest, darkest Bakugan, of course. With Elico going, you need a Bakugan with a warrior spirit such as myself. With Spatterax going, you just need a badass. With Izuku basically huffing, within Skyrus spoke up saying, you chose them. Do you regret it? With Izuku saying, barely, just a little. With then a few people looking at him, talking to his Bakugan, with him a little bit embarrassed. Within, soon one of the students with that of a bird head, as this being Fumikage Tokuyami, basically understands his pain all too well. As this is how Izuku's first day basically went at UA. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to read them. So, what did you guys think? Did a pretty decent job, and sorry I couldn't do much with the Bakugan during the quirk apprehension test. Remember, they're basically huge as hell, and it's not like Izuku is going to be able to basically use their powers in combat himself in the future. But that's beside the point. Point is, Izuku's going to need to learn on how to rely outside of his Bakugan. And luckily enough, we'll get straight into that. Also, bit of a heads up, I'll basically be labeling all of, Izuku's Bakugan that he'll be using during his time in UA after all, from now on through this series. Some other Bakugan will make an appearance here and there, but they won't be the main Bakugan that Izuku will be using in combat against the League of Villains, the Hasaikai, and many other villains throughout that of the MHA series. So yeah. At any rate, with all that said, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification key to date my videos upload the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All link in description below. And remember, please donate down in the comments below as a super thanks for me to make that of a one shot of your choosing for the channel. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys, and hope you all take care. Thank you so much for watching and staying to the end of the video.
But there's still so much on my love channel.
That's right, such as my other What If content and the most recent What Ifs as well.
Not to mention his playlist, where you can watch all of his other What Ifs.
Which, all said and done, this is Leon.
And Shiro.
And you're watching Leon Mookie.